So what is calorie counting and how does it really work? So to start off, let's just talk about a calorie in general. Because if we're going to be counting calories, we should know ideally what a calorie is, right? So a calorie in itself is just a measure of energy. It's a measure of energy. Specifically, when we're talking about a calorie, we're actually talking about 1 kilocalorie. That's the correct term. But when you're thinking about just a calorie in general, just know in itself that a calorie, when we say calorie, we're actually meaning kilocalorie. And a kilocalorie is essentially the amount of energy needed to raise 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So that's all fancy term. Basically knowing that when we're talking about a calorie, is it a kilocalorie? It's energy, because you need energy to raise 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius, of course. So calorie and kilocalorie are used interchangeably in society and in our worlds. Just know that if you have more calories, generally speaking, this is going to be more energy. Now, when we look at it from the perspective of why we might actually be counting calories, the way we use it, at least in our society, is a measure of food. And as we just discussed, the more calories you have, the more energy you have. So since we're talking about, of course, calories being food, the more calories, and the more energy. So really simple stuff there, just to kind of lay the framework, but just know that a calorie in itself comes from a food. A food literally isn't a calorie, but food has calories, and calories give us energy. So that's an important thing to know when we're trying to count these things. So you might then be asking, why in the world would we do this? Why would I need to actually count calories? And especially when it comes to losing weight. Well, when we're losing weight, we actually look at this term called energy balance. As in, when we're losing weight, we need to be in an energy deficit. So weight loss is all about energy balance. So this idea is kind of looking at calories in versus calories out. And basically, when we talk about calories out, we exercise calories. We need calories to stay alive, and we also burn some calories digesting food. So those are all ways that we expend energy and expend calories in our daily life. That's kind of the out portion of the energy balance or calories in versus calories out equation. We also take calories in. This is through food. This is also through drinks. And essentially, these different things, these different inputs give us energy. As we just discussed, those calories are forms of energy. So again, kind of bringing this all back together, calories have energy. And when we talk about food, food has calories in it, as in the food in itself is giving us energy. When we are consuming food, and maybe even some drinks that have calories, that's one way we get energy into our body. And then we also expel energy or burn energy. This is the calories out. This is through exercise, all the different processes of our body to stay alive. So basically cell repair, your heart beating, digestion happening. All of these things are different things that you actually do to burn calories just to keep you alive. And then also you burn a little bit of calories from digesting food. So let's just look at an example of somebody who needs to eat 2,500 calories a day to maintain their weight. And hopefully this will give you a little bit of context. So we need 2,500 calories to maintain this person's weight. If that person starts eating 2,000 calories per day, as in they're eating 500 less calories per day than they need to maintain their weight, they're going to lose weight. Also, if this person is eating more than that 2,500 calories a day, guess what? They in itself are going to gain weight, right? So that's why calorie counting is so incredibly important when we're trying to think about this weight loss goals, because at the end of the day, the calories are going to dictate that. The calories are going to dictate that, whether you are eating too much or too little over your baseline, and we'll look at that in a second further in the podcast. But essentially, this is what calorie counting is. You're counting the amount of energy you take in. And when we talk about weight loss in itself, this is an incredibly useful tool because it really beats all the guesswork out of it. You're just counting the amount of food you're taking in. And if you know roughly how much calories you're burning per day, you can lose weight extremely rapidly.